Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing early retirement and why you should consider Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam is one that's been on our list for a long time, and we are finally here. We have been here for a month, and it has been wonderful. So this is something that we've considered, and now we're here to tell you why it's so great.
All right, so let's jump right in. One of the top reasons why a lot of people consider Vietnam is because of its cost effectiveness, right?
Yeah, it is extremely cheap to live here. Basically, we have a video on the channel of how well you can live on for $3,000 a month. And the general idea is you can live as well as you want for $3,000 a month. Basically, we've been living here for a month and we could not spend $3,000. And we've been living,
We tried.
we've been doing everything and anything that we wanted to do. That includes basically having a really nice one-bedroom apartment with a pool and a gym and probably the nicest area in town. Super luxurious, kind of Western style apartment. It's been amazing. Then we've been ordering food, eating out quite a bit.
Yep, which is, very expensive in, say, like the United States, but here you're using the Grab app like Uber at home and getting food delivered for not a lot of money.
Yeah, we've been getting massages. They are about $12 for 90 minutes. Your manicure, pedicure was $4. 10 eggs at the grocery store is $1.20. So you add all this up, and it's just so inexpensive that basically $2,500 a month is still even probably too high of a budget. You could pretty easily live here for $2,000 or less, and that's still living pretty high. If you could live here for $1,000 to $2,000. That's not the style we want to live. Plenty of people do, but I think the way that we want to live, $2,000 to $2,500 here for two people will basically get that done.
Yeah, pretty much in a nutshell. I think one of the other things that I absolutely love about here and why you should consider coming here for early retirement and spending some time is the people are so friendly, so helpful, so kind. I can't say enough good things about the people here.
Yeah, people have been very friendly to both of us, and we've had a good time interacting with them. Some countries where you go to, they don't really want to interact with you that much, but here, they pretty much do right away.
They do. They flash you a big smile, and you flash one back, and the next thing you know, you're embroiled in a conversation with them. Whether it be through speaking to each other, if they know English, or using, Google Translate and going back and forth. It is what it is.
The next thing is that the internet here is very good. That's very important for a lot of people. We're in our apartment here, and our internet is like 200 megabits per second, and that's better than we get at home. So
yeah, it's very helpful too if you're doing a little bit of if you're working while you're gone, or just for streaming, or just connecting with people back home. You're not going to have any trouble at all being able to do any of those things because the internet here is A-okay.
yeah, that's good because we're streaming our shows, we're streaming our baseball games, and it's almost football season because it's August. So that will be streaming very soon as well. Another reason that Vietnam is a great choice to consider is they just came out with a 90-day visa, and that is so huge because until you decide where you want to go, the visa situation for an early retiree can be troublesome because a lot of countries only give you 30 days and then you got to leave and come back, and you really don't get as good of a feel for it in 30 days. So the fact that they have a 90-day visa for everyone is perfect, and we're going to be taking advantage of that next time we come here, I think.
Yes, when we applied for our visa, this didn't go into effect yet, so we could only do 30 days the first time around. So we are definitely plotting going around some other places for the next time, because 90 days really gives you a good amount of time to do a lot here.
Yeah. And there's a lot to do here. It's one of the most beautiful countries. Everything from Halong Bay up in the north to Da Nang, and down here you've got the Mekong.
Beaches.
Yeah, there's so much to see. You could spend the whole 90 days traveling around and never get bored looking at stuff.
For sure, and definitely coming from a photographer is going to tell you how pretty everything is. It really is a beautiful, beautiful country. So many different landscapes too to see. It's really quite beautiful. That's the next thing is basically there's, you can go to the mountains, you can go to the beach, you can go to the big cities, you can go to old villages. I mean, there's just so many different things to see. Yeah.
There are, and there's good housing accommodations everywhere you go, and that's another thing that we really look at is sometimes a country is inexpensive, but there's nowhere that you want to stay that meets up to your standards. In Vietnam, the housing is not only inexpensive, but it is up to and exceeds our standards as Westerners and just what we're used to doing. You don't really want to be in a place where you're uncomfortable, and you will be very, very comfortable in the housing in Vietnam.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're trying out a country for the first time, you just go for the highest comfort level, just so you can just kind of dip your toes in and do a soft landing, essentially, as opposed to just an abrupt jump into, a hostel in the middle of the cheapest area and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to give you a nice soft landing. If you're comfortable in your housing, then you can kind of deal with some of the other things. Because another thing too about Vietnam is that there's quite a bit of English spoken here.
There is, yeah. Yeah, we've been surprised how much English has been spoken. We just came from Japan before we came here, and there's a lot more English spoken here than in Japan, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not, an ultimate, yes or no, don't go to a country, because obviously we went to Japan knowing that there wasn't going to be a lot of English spoken there. The beautiful thing is that, gosh, Google has Google Translate, and even Google Lens, which you can use in the grocery store or to read signs and things like that. So, that's always a helpful thing to have.
We're not translating things near as much here, though.
No, we're not. No, in Japan, I felt like, for starters, I was translating everything in the grocery store. I had no idea what anything was unless it was eggs, and I could see it was eggs, but everything else I'm I don't know, that could be salt or sugar, I can't tell, and I don't know what the word is for it. So Google Translate comes in especially the Google Lens, where you can hold it over and look at the words. It's very helpful.
Yeah, you really got to check that onion rings versus octopus
Or
very carefully.
The calamari rings or onion rings. Don't know which one it is. We'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, they look the same, but Google will help you with that. Then the food scene here is very diverse. You can get a lot of Vietnamese food, which is amazing, but also they have all of our food from America, which is great too, because sometimes you just want that. We've ordered everything from Cuban sandwiches to tacos, Chicago deep dish style pizza. There's a place here that has Chicago deep dish style pizza, Chicago dogs, Italian beef. You can literally get anything you want here. There's a New York diner down the street from where we're living, kind of decked out in the old American 50s, 60s
They have,
diner.
English food, Australian food, like you said, the tacos, the deep dish, pizzas. I mean, really everything. They have even some Middle Eastern food, halal food. I mean, they have so much on top of all of the incredible Vietnamese food itself is so good also. So they just, every day we're just oh, what do you feel like today? It's oh, I don't know.
And then I would say another thing that makes this right at the top of the list is that it's safe and it feels safe. We have not felt unsafe at all. And that's an important factor because we have been to some countries where we have felt a little unsafe, which, we do feel unsafe at home sometimes. So that's not to be, distinguished. But this country feels very, very safe. And I think that's something that a lot of people look for we generally tend to write off any country where we just don't feel safe. Because why bother with
Yeah,
that?
where one or both of us feels unsafe, because a lot of times we'll do things separately. Like I'll go out in the early morning and hit a cafe or something because I like coffee, and I want to go somewhere and sit. I no problem at all. Never felt any kind of discomfort whatsoever walking around. Like I said, for the most part, people are so nice. They usually just flash you a smile and just, watch you walk past or whatever. And I know you go out for long walks at night, late at night. Sometimes you're out there at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem at all. So, and sometimes we're both out there at night walking around. Haven't felt like we needed to look over our shoulder or anything like that. So that really is a huge factor as well, that you do feel comfortable and not, unsafe at all.
Yeah, there are very few countries that tick all of the boxes, like every single one. And I think Vietnam is one of those countries that does. The price, the safety, the comfort, the luxury you're going to have, the friendliness of the people, it all adds up to you really should consider Vietnam. And they do have that 90-day visa, so the first thing you should do is come try it out for a month and see what you think before you're actually settling into your retirement life. Come try it, so then you'll know ahead of time that this is something I want to do for a longer period of time.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully that gives you an idea of why we think you should consider coming to Vietnam for a long-term stay for early retirees. Guys, if you have any more questions on top of the information we've shared, leave those down in the comments so others can read and learn from them as well. We'll be answering those for you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more information on other places you should consider for early retirement. Guys, we'll see you next time.